Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the Qatar Open Innovation Program webinar. This webinar is a partnership between QRDI Council and MATAR. I'm very excited to be your host today for this session. Let me first introduce myself. My name is Abdul Haq Balaidi, and I'm the program manager at QRDI in charge of the Qatar Open Innovation Program. My distinguished guests today and panelists today are Mr. Mohammed Haider Hayat from MATAR and Ms. Deepika Wadwani also from MATAR. Mr. Mohammed Haider Hayat is an accomplished technology leader with over 17 years of experience in delivering innovation, applied data science, and AI in the banking and aviation. He is currently working at Hamad International Airport as a head of data and AI. His most recent accomplishment includes securing his organization the accolade of the most innovative airport initiative in 2023 at the annual FTE conference in Dublin through his work on the airport digital twin, as well as being recognized as the data analytics leader of the year at the Middle East Enterprise AI Analytics Summit in 2023. He holds a master's in aerospace engineering from Queen Mary University of London, England, with accreditation from the Royal Aeronautics Society. Haider has recently completed the Chief Technology Officer Executive Program at Judge Business School, University of Cambridge. My second guest is Ms. Deepika Wadwani. Ms. Deepika is a true champion of talent nurturing and leadership experience at Hamad International Airport, with a remarkable career spanning over 16 years in various facets of talent management. Deepika brings a wealth of experience in learning and development, competency management, high potential talent, identification and succession, and career management. Ms. Deepika is an ISCF certified coach and holds an MBA in human resources. Regarding the agenda of today's webinar, I will start by giving an introduction about the Qatar Open Innovation Program. Then I will hand over to my guests to talk about MATAR Open Innovation Call. Then I will show you how to submit the proposal in the frame of this call, and then we go for the Q&A session, and we end this webinar. So let me talk a little bit about QRDI. If you don't know QRDI, Qatar Research Development and Innovation QRDI Council was established in 2018 to drive research, development, and innovation (RDI) efforts on a national level in line with the Qatar National Vision 2030, and the second National Development Strategy 2018-2022. QRDI Council has developed a 10-year strategy, QRDI 2030, which seeks to create a locally empowered, globally connected RDI ecosystem, mobilizing leadership across government, academia, and industry to transform Qatar's social and economic future. Among the funding programs that QRDI has in its portfolio is the Qatar Open Innovation Program. The Qatar Open Innovation Program aims at connecting opportunity owners, who are in this case large local enterprise in Qatar and government agencies, with local and global innovators. So we work with the large local enterprises and government agencies to identify the area where they want to pilot technology-based innovation in order for them to enhance their performance and competitiveness. After identifying this innovation opportunity, we structure it in a form of call for proposal, and we amplify it all over the world, targeting the best innovation solutions. So we partner with the innovator to test a pilot in Qatar. Through this program, we facilitate the engagement of innovators with the large local enterprise and government agencies, and we fund the initial pilot to be developed in Qatar. So here are the offering of this program, of the Qatar Open Innovation Program. The first offer, as I mentioned, is that the solution provider will gain access to funding to for pilot development and testing it inside Qatar. The second one is to have a potential commercial agreements with Qatari large local enterprise and government agencies. Then the third point is to what we can offer is to facilitate the startup company registration within Qatar. And the fourth point is to gain access to local incubators. We will assist and help to gain access to local incubators and accelerators. Last and not least, through working with our large local enterprises and government agencies, the innovators will gain access to Qatari and GCC markets. So here is the list of the companies that the large local enterprise and government agencies that we worked with so far. We already published calls with all these entities, and you can see that we have globally known companies like Qatar Airways, like Al Jazeera, like MATAR, and then we have other entities that are regionally known, like Qatar Insurance Company, like GWC, Shellsat, Aspire, and then we have also the government agencies, ministries and agencies with us. So overall, we worked with 19 opportunity owners, and our portfolio is growing for more LLEs. Some statistics for this program. Since it was launched in 2022, we published 50 open innovation calls all over. We published them to be, to apply all over the world. We closed 47 of them, awarded 27 projects, and 6 projects have been completed. As I mentioned, the program has been launched only 2 years back. Now I will hand over to my guests and panelists, Mr. Haider and Mrs. Debika, to talk about the MATAR need for an innovation solution. Haider, the floor is yours, please.
Great, thank you, Dr. Beledi. I trust you can hear me clearly?
Yes.
Fantastic. So thank you, Dr. Beledi. I just wanted to address, introduce MATAR as an organization. So MATAR is the operating company for Hamad International Airport. Dr. Beledi, if I can ask you to proceed to the next slide. So here at MATAR, we have a very clear vision, which is to become the global reference in aviation for passenger experience and sustainable operations. We've worked really hard to make sure that we have a strong strategy to underpin our vision and mission. Part of that is building capabilities for the future. And here at Hamad International Airport, Dr. Beledi gave a very comprehensive introduction. But one part of my role is to foster innovation, here at MATAR. And I'm very pleased to have colleagues such as Deepika, who are at the forefront of their industry, and are true innovators. So today, we'll be walking through a specific challenge that is aligned to our strategy about building capabilities for the future, specifically when it comes to probably our most important resource, which is our people. There are lots of industry challenges which are coming our way from a sustainability perspective, from changing operations, from challenges around efficiency and managing our capacity. So investing in our people is a key priority, ensuring that their growth is kept at the forefront, and that's the way we'll achieve, true success in being that global reference for aviation when it comes to passenger experience, sustainable operations. We have been recognized as the world's best airport for 3 times actually. So we currently hold that title, and we've also been voted the best airport in the Middle East 10 times as well. So we are really excited about this opportunity. We also really appreciate QRDI for giving us access to such brilliant talent such as yourselves. So in today's call, we'll walk through the challenge itself, which, like I said, is vital to our strategy and achieving the mission and maintaining our position as the world's best airport. So I'll hand over to my colleague Deepika, who's the brainchild behind this innovation call, and I'll ask her to present the contents of the innovation call. Over to you, Deepika.
Thank you so much, Haider, and welcome everyone. It's really nice to see that there are a lot of seekers out there to really wanting to support innovation. So thank you for that. And I'd like to thank QRDI for hosting this for us. So as Haider mentioned, building capabilities for the future is a top priority, one of the top priorities for HIA, for MATAR. And there is a lot that is done in terms of developing people, developing capabilities, and really thinking of what are the future skills that are required to be at the cutting edge in the industry. So this problem actually starts, I would say maybe 2 years ago, when we actually developed a very strong and rich set of technical competencies at HIA for all the roles that we have. At the end of this exercise, and it was a very comprehensive and long exercise, at the end of it, what we got, and Dr. Willoughby, can I request you to just move to the next slide, please? Thank you. So at the end of this exercise, what we got was a very rich framework of technical capabilities for all the roles, not just defining what are the knowledge, skills, and abilities that are required to be successful in a role, but also at what proficiency level each of those knowledge, skills, and abilities need to be at. And this was a very rich data that we got. We had this data, we looked at it, and we realized that it's massive, and its objective is far beyond, because we wanted to use that for hiring the right talent, developing the right talent, and promoting the right talent. And as we said, building the right capabilities in our people. I mean, in general, yes, we do offer a very rich and wide variety of development opportunities at MATAR, which are currently utilized for technical, professional, and leadership skills. But we're looking at really innovating the process of development of people, which can probably start from as basic as the offering that are provided to people should start from where their current skills are at. And when I say current skills, it's not just the skills that are required for their current role, but also what they aspire for in terms of future. What are the target roles that they have? And as compared to that, where they are now and where they want to be. So really assessing their current capabilities and then providing them the exact skill that is required to develop in that role. So that's the level of personalized and adaptive learning that we are looking at, which in general, if you look at a standard format of development, in general, you bring people in a classroom training and you would see that not everyone is at the same level. They all are at different levels of proficiency. They all have different understanding. And you really need the personalized development to ensure that their career aspiration, their development is completely targeted. The other interesting area is that our entire talent management process is heavily relying on the managers identifying the competency and the skills and really measuring them and saying how good or bad it is. But we also want it to be relied on objective assessments that are done based on really understanding how much people know and how sure they are about what they know. Because if you're very sure of what you know incorrectly, that's quite bad. So just helping people with establishing accuracy, but also establishing confidence level for what they know and for what is required in their role. So that's really our problem as of now, and we're really looking at innovating this whole process. The opportunity that comes out of this this problem, in our view, is multifaceted, and I think if you go to the next slide, we see different areas that could be covered through this opportunity for innovation. And one clear area is learning. There's this whole perceived barriers that people have, that they don't have enough time for their own development, and how much of what they learn actually gets retained and brought in their daily jobs. So to really break these barriers, we want something which is very innovative, which is very personalized, and which is very very much aligned to the career aspiration, so that the individual is completely motivated to do to participate in self-development. The other is the entire career piece that comes along with it, and the fact that we really are focused on our internal talent and developing them and get ready for future skills and roles. We want something which is very modular. It's not too long. The assessments, the learning, both are very modular and based on creating adaptive learning journeys and user journeys for our people. Of course, we would want a rich, rich insights and data coming out of this exercise, which would actually recommend individuals that what is their personalized development path, what are the competencies that they could do better at, specifically in what areas. And the fact that in an airport there are so many skills that are so functional and so technical in nature, that within an area of work also there are different small skills and knowledge elements that you can develop on. So we're really looking at something that can give us what exactly the individual, based on the role, needs to develop on, and what can help that, what mode of development can help that. And of course, the whole aspect of dashboard, analytics, insights, giving us the idea of what kind of capabilities for what roles, some industry benchmarking. These are things that we're looking at should come along with this whole platform. So that's pretty much what we're looking at. And I also want to brag a little bit about our organization here, because we were in discussion with ACI a few weeks ago, and they told us that we are probably the top 10% within the top 10% of the airport industry who actually developed technical competency framework. and who are actually thinking of developing capabilities at this extent. So that brings a lot of pride, but also a lot of motivation for looking forward to developing something really breakthrough in this area for us. So I really invite, along with Haider, I really invite you all to really put your, best innovation and best solution forward. I'd like to take a pause here, and probably Dr.
Deepak, if
Delaney
I
would
could
you
also,
absolutely, Haider.
Deepak, if I could just supplement. So, I hope you really feel the sense of passion that we have for this. Many of you will be in kind of the area of human resources analytics, etc. And we're really, really excited to hear your ideas. I wanted to outline a few things, three things in particular. One is, when we receive your proposals, what are some of the key things that we'll be looking for? So one is that what you're proposing, it really, really will actually touch on the problems that Deepika outlined and the behaviors that we want to drive. The second thing is, we see generative AI as a real game changer. So we're really looking for, the innovative uses of generative AI to help achieve some of these goals. So that's some key things that I wanted to highlight about how we'll be looking at your proposal. The second thing I wanted to just touch on was, what do we expect? And so I think we're open to ideas. So if it does deviate from this, so long as it deviates in a positive way, we're okay with that. But our baseline expectation is that an employee within their role has specific competencies. We expect what you develop will provide us an objective, measurable way to look at how strong they are in those applicable competencies. And on the basis of material that we provide you, whether that be a standard operating procedure, whether that be some manuals, whether that be additional training material that we have, you're able to synthesize that and create bite-sized trainings and target the right person with the right training to improve the competencies that are being kind of prioritized as part of our business needs. And then regularly kind of look at closing the loop to make sure that the training that's been given to them, it's actually driven some level of improvement within that competency, and that it's reinforced over time. And when we say bite size, we're talking about, giving them an article to read in a week, or a quick 15-minute video. So that's what we mean by bite size. We want to move away from having a day-long classroom-based training to something that's more day-to-day, continuous but consistent experience. And on top of that, we want analytics, so we can see as an organization just where we started, how we're improving, and what's that remaining gap. So those are some of the things that we kind of expect as a typical experience and capabilities from an enterprise perspective. And like I said, we're open to things which deviate from that, but in a positive way. Maybe you have some better ideas and some functionality that we haven't thought of. So we're open to hearing about that. The last thing that I'd like to touch on is, what can you expect from us? So we will be sharing with you that competency framework. So for every single employee that we have in MATAR, we have a predefined list of competencies and proficiency levels that we think they should be operating at. We will also provide you with relevant SME support. So whether that be from my team, who specialize in data and AI, or whether that be from Deepika's team, who specialize in talent management, or other areas within MATAR, we'll bring the right subject matter expertise to the project to support you and test out some of your ideas, test out some of your functionality. The other thing that you can expect is us to look at measuring the performance of your solution in quite a quantitative way. So we'll agree with you upfront what we call proof of value criteria. So this means that both you and us, we have a fixed goalpost, from the beginning of the innovation, and when we come at the end of it, we don't move those goalposts. We have a quantitative way to say this is what success looks like, and this is what we're aiming for when it comes to providing a success with distinction. And the last thing that you can kind of expect from us is the opportunity to work with a leading organization. We're at the forefront of our industry. We have a lot of talented people, and we hope that this will be a success. So we hope to really provide you with providing it successful, a good reference for one of the most recognized airports in the world. So I'll stop there, and to Deepika's point, we can take any question or answers.
Thank you very much, Haider and Deepika, for this clear, I would say, presentation. Let me know before the questions, let me show you how to apply for this call. So please go to our website, as here is the website address of QRDI, and then you can scroll down until you see this call, which is called MATAR Open Innovation Call on Adaptive Learning through Personalized Assessments and Training Digital Tool. Then you can click on apply. You see it here. If you click inside, it will open another window. And then you see the description, you see the background, eligibility, everything. You click on apply here. It will take you to our partner, or Nine Sigma, or innovation partner Nine Sigma, where you will find the same description there. Then you click on respond square here, and then it will take you to the registration webpage or the login webpage. If you have an account, you can just log in and then you start filling your application. If you don't have an account on Nine Sigma, you just fill the form and follow the instructions. Once you fill the form and follow the instructions, you will come to the page where you have to put to input your proposal. There are different sections. Please make sure to fill all the required sections, and please add as many information as possible, because it will help us understanding your solution. Here are some advice from us. Fill in all the fields and tick all the relevant boxes. If you are not done yet, you can save your input, and then you can come back later, so you don't have to do it on one go. At the end, if you finish your application, there will be a submit button. Please submit it, otherwise the application will not come to us. I just repeat and remind you about the deadline. It's August 9, 2024. Now we reach to the Q&A session, and I will start reading the questions and seek the help of my guests, Haider and Deepika. If the questions are more technical, one, if they're programmatic, I will answer myself. The first one is, we understood that part of the project was to dynamically create content using AI based on your current content, but we can't see that on the opportunity slide. Has that been removed, either or?
Yeah, so I'll take this one. So I think it may not have been in the slide that Deepika walked through, but hopefully when I went through, what are our expectations we reinforce the need for that. So we will provide you with certain SOPs and manuals, and when you combine that with generative AI capabilities, such as a large language model, which will have more generic information from the web, that combined, we think that could be used to then generate content in the form of articles, could be audio clips, video clips, could be images, infographics. So essentially engaging content that can be described as a bite-size training module for a specific competency. I hope that answers the question.
I think, Haider. Another question, can you give me one simple desired example of training scenario?
Sure, Deepika, jump in if you want to take any of these, but I'll quickly cover it from my side. So so Deepika has been supporting my particular part of the organization where I have data scientists, I have data engineers. So for them, there are specific competencies, whether that be technical competencies such as, for example, could be data architecture, or could be designing, building data pipelines. So, or it could be soft competencies such as presentation skills, data storytelling. So effectively, those competencies, I would like to see my staff being measured to see how good they are, how much domain knowledge they have in that area, and where they're weak, for them to be sent maybe content such as could be an article about what are the top data visualization techniques, right? What are do's and don'ts when it comes to data visualization? Um, don't leave out the zero because it exaggerates the differences in a bar chart, as an example. So hopefully that provides kind of a practical example of a desired training scenario. But maybe I'll hand over to Deepika to maybe add further color.
That's absolutely a great example, Haider. And yeah, clearly we're looking at the areas where an individual is not as per the required proficiency level for the current role or the targeted role, should get very targeted content in form of visuals or audio or written document, because our content is quite dry. I mean, in typically how airports would have a lot of SOPs, a lot of manuals, a lot of processes. So how do we convert all of this into something which is very targeted and digestible for individuals? So a very right example given by Haider just now.
Thank you, Deepika. And Haider, another question, is there any guidance on the specific training competencies being explored? Are they soft skills, hard skills? And could you provide more specifics?
Sure. So the short answer is it's both soft and hard skills. Also, you can expect very generic competencies that you would have in any organization, whether that be business acumen, whether that be presentation skills, etc. But when it comes to technical skills, again, there are certain departments that we have, like HR and finance, where that's very typical of any company. But when it comes to our operations team, our facilities maintenance team, this is where we start to kind of get a bit more narrow, and the competencies are more airport specific. So that could be things such as could be on,
Wildlife
for
hazard
example, ground
management.
handling. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, maybe Deepika, you can give some examples of
Yeah, I mean,
some of the airport technical competencies.
It just came to my mind, the wildlife hazard management related to any foreign objects that might come on the runway, or any of those things that are very specific to the airport, or an aircraft marshaller, safety, security, anything to do with the aerodrome manuals. These are very, very specific airport competencies. Yeah.
Yeah, and you might think, well, we don't know anything about airports, so how are we expected to provide training? Well, in our experience, when we're using the very well-known large language models such as OpenAI or Llama, what we find is that actually there's so much information about these competencies on the web. These large language models actually have a quite good understanding of this domain, right? If you ask, what's the difference between a hub airport versus a point to point, it can answer with proficiency, right? So it's not necessarily that we're asking you to come up with the content, to learn about airports and come up with the content, but rather take our content, combine that with the power of some foundational models to provide that capability of those trainings. I hope that's clear. Yeah.
Thanks again. Another question, is there any particular tool which is being used currently in-house?
Deepika, I can take this. Please jump in where So we have typical kind of annual performance cycles, and there's a specific tool for that. But when it comes to kind of learning and development, this is an area where we have things like Udemy. We have things specific trainings that we have on a learning management system, which is typically an hour online training, clicking through and clicking bubbles. When it comes to leveraging the competency framework, so Deepika's team and my team have been working quite closely. We've actually done quite a bit of analytics on it in the past to look at internal mobility opportunities, to look at succession risk, by looking at if critical positions were to be made vacant, what other roles have the smallest learning distance, when we look at the desired proficiency and the desired competencies and proficiencies of that role. So we've done a bit of that, and we have been kind of internally developing a tool to kind of capture line manager ratings, etc. But it's not something that we've deployed. We've just been more doing some research and development and trying to get that to trials. But I think you shouldn't be too concerned about that. The selected partner would obviously be briefed on kind of whatever we've done in that space to see whether or not they would like to leverage that. But the short answer is you can treat this as greenfield. I don't know if there's anything you want to add to that, Deepika.
No,
or contradict.
all good.
Yeah.
No, completely agree.
All right, thank you. Another question that I couldn't really understand was, it said, do you face challenges with content sourcing and creation? I think it's a general question.
Do you face challenges with content creation and what was the last one? Sorry, I missed that.
No, content sources and creation, that's all.
Content sources.
I think
so
whoever sent this question could please
I'll have an attempt
rephrase
at
it and
this.
send it.
So I think maybe I understand, but if it's not, they can repost the question. So essentially we have specific trainings that are relevant to airports, which we work with partners to create, right? And they're very typical what you would have in a learning management system. Our HR talent team have also procured many kind of resources such as Harvard Business School trainings, as well as Udemy courses. But again, we feel that people have this perception that they don't have enough time to do those courses. people have that perception that I'm going to do it and not use it and retain, and I have a knowledge retention issue, so I won't do it. And also, I'm going to be bored because a lot of these things are not engaging. So, for us, we would like you to create engaging, bite-sized content where we can reinforce, learning through, and measure that improvement. So, our problem is more in that aspect, rather than. But I hope that's clear. Yeah. But please repost the
All
question
right.
if it didn't answer that.
Thank you, Haider. Next question: what is the format of the training material that you already have? PDF?
Deepika, you want to cover that?
I think Haider already covered in many ways, but yeah, so we have currently our trainings in face-to-face, instructor-led. A lot of them are regulatory, so they're also covered by the required regulatory authorities. We have it in both online, digital, e-learning, and also virtual learning wherever required. So really, it's in multiple forms. We have, like Haider mentioned, we have Harvard Management, we have, in certain cases, Udemy. We've also recently partnered with LinkedIn Learning and Spark, which is a part of Harvard as well. So these are different forms of learnings that we have right now.
And we also have quite a few SOPs, policies. So we have a lot of internal documents which represent knowledge that people need to be trained on. But actually, it's not that we have modules within our learning management system for those. It's more people do that at their own prerogative or at the direction of their manager. So, but I hope we can kind of include those things to make it less tacit knowledge and more institutionalized knowledge.
All right, thank you. Another question: you are expected to share the competency framework with the winning only, not beforehand. I think yes, it will be only shared with the awarded company only. Next question: may we know how many organizations have been invited to submit, please? Well, this is question that we don't know. We published our calls on the different platforms, and we don't know how many organizations. The only thing that I can say that we had, for the time being, about 4 to 5 applications. Next question: can you explain a bit further the role of the competencies have for employees in these projects? Are you thinking about it as a map to know where each employee is doing well, or where they need to do some periodical reinforcement, or do you want to use it also for career development and training opportunities?
Should I take that up?
Yeah, please go ahead, Deepika.
Yeah, so so clearly what we're looking at is we're looking at something which is very personalized when it comes to assessing individuals' current skills. So assessment is a very integral part of it. And based on that assessment, to really throw the right content to the individual, what is required to develop a competency. That's the crux of what we're looking at. Of course, when it comes to development, it could be through training, it could be through on the job, it could be through taking projects, but we're really looking at some content which is digestible, bite-sized, modular, and targeted for specific competencies. This will definitely be an important part for career development, because based on these technical competencies and professional competencies, the individual gets to to choose a pathway that where they want to move in terms of their career. And when they look at a targeted role, it should give them the development opportunity that is required to be in that role. So what do they need to learn before moving into that role? Or what is the gap between the current role and the role that they're targeting towards? And that is what we're expecting that this tool would provide, whether it is in terms of mapping the gap, whether it is in terms of developing the gap and assessing it. Either I don't know if you want to add something. Did I miss any
No,
important
I
thing?
think you've done it well. So, you know, we want to create a baseline. How well are they performing against their competencies? Where there's a gap, a shortfall, you know, close those gaps. And also, when they've reached their, you know, the required level, it then becomes a conversation about what next, what opportunity next. So their learning is continuous. So first, it's bringing them to be uh, um, proficient in their current role, and then it becomes, you know, their growth towards their next step. But it's continuous.
Thank you. Next question is, do you expect a ready-to-go solution, or you are open to develop it with the provider? Either you want me to take it, or you can take it.
I mean, from our perspective, we're happy for either. If there is a solution on the market, we don't want to reinvent the wheel, but at the same time, you know, we think that if there's a capable partner with the right innovative thinking, and they're confident they can deliver within the limitations of the you know, of the innovation call, you know, we'd be happy to kind of work with them and co-develop.
Yeah, from the program point of view, if it's a ready-to-go solution or an off-the-shelf solution, then the program will not cover it. But of course, you can apply and say, this is my solution and it's off the shelf. And if MATAR want it, then the commercial agreement will be directly with MATAR. Next question is, do you have...
Just on that, Dr. Beledi. So I think also you'd be fine with if they have an existing platform where, you know, it maybe it meets like 60% of the requirement, and that 40% is really where the innovation happens, right? So I think we'd welcome those types of proposals as well.
Yeah, thank you for this clarification. Yeah. Next question, do you have existing LMS solution?
Yes, we do. We have an existing LMS, and we are definitely not looking for another LMS, but we're looking for innovation of competencies, development, and assessments.
Okay, next question, is there a preference over Doha Qatari-based vendors versus outside of Qatar? So the program objective is to get the best solution that fits with the need of the opportunity owner, whether it's inside Qatar or outside Qatar, it doesn't matter. Next question, if we have questions while preparing the proposal, is it okay to contact you via email? Yes, please contact our partner, Nine Sigma, and then they will come to us with the questions. We will respond to you. The next question, how will the selection process
So
work?
Dr. Beledi, just on that point, you know, please make sure that the question you're asking, you know, it is absolutely pertinent to you. Because, you know, we have a limited capacity to answer so many queries. So please only put those questions if it's something that we haven't covered here and is absolutely essential for your proposal. Only then do that. And if we don't respond, it's because, you know, we feel we've already shared that knowledge with you through this call or within the innovation call itself. Because we do have a limited capacity, and if there's so many questions, we may not get to all of them. So sorry to interrupt you, Dr. Beledi. Just wanted to add that in.
No, that's fine. Thank you for clarifying that. The question is, how will the selection process work? Well, we have committees from QRDI and from the opportunity owner, and we work both of us together in order to find to select the best solution. Next question: how tech savvy are employees receiving this training? How do you expect the delivery of the bite-sized learning to be, tech or IoT? Will the project involve developing a conclusion solution, a custom solution specifically for MATAR, or will it utilize and adapt our existing products SaaS solution? Let me go one by one. How tech savvy, I don't know what does it mean savvy, are employees receiving this training?
Just to clarify, the employees that we're targeting as part of this program, they're all office-based employees who are computer literate, and we have I think quite a young average age of our organization, so you can assume them to be tech savvy, with using smartphones, using digital technology. Um, in terms of how we expect to deliver the bite-sized training, I think we're open to different proposals, but just some ideas. It could be, just delivered as an email into the inbox with a link or the content embedded within that email. Um, uh, some people, they do have corporate smartphones. But I think email seems to be a good mechanism. Um, I think a platform itself would also maybe help, but again, you need to bring people to that platform, remind them to go to it. So I think push content would probably work better rather than asking them to come and log into a platform, because not people may not do that on a regular basis as part of their entrenched behaviors. Um, and I think we covered the third one, which was, yeah, if you've got a baseline solution and adapting that to add some innovative features, which then meets our innovation call from MATAR side, we're open to that. But there are rules from QRDI side, from a qualification perspective as well, that need to be respected. Deepika or Dr. Baledi, if there's anything you want to add, please feel free.
I think it's fine. Thank you. Next question is about the demographics of employees, skilled and unskilled.
They're all skilled.
They are skilled.
And yeah, because
Right.
most of our unskilled or lower cases are also contractual. So our own employees are absolutely skilled, and yeah.
Thanks. Next question: what kind of support and training will MATAR expect from the solution provider during and after the implementation? How should the solution provider plan for long-term maintenance and updates?
So I think we expect the platform to be intuitive. So, but if there is specific training that you think MATAR employees or the, for example, the HR team would need to understand, how does the analytics module to look at how people are improving, then yeah, you can cover that training. But in terms of kind of long-term support and maintenance, I think. This is looking at a proof of value, so we're looking at actually proving that there is a solution that can achieve this, and then subsequently would look at whether or not it's met the success criteria, and the overall cost um, of a long-term solution and how that fits in our budget. So there's no commitment for long-term support and maintenance at this stage, but from what we would expect is to make sure that that value is continuously being delivered. So we'd look at the quality of the assessments that are being generated to measure the competency, look at the fairness, and so these things would be kind of ongoing assessments to make sure that it's living up to our values, it's delivering the impact that it needs to deliver, functionality is working. So along with anything typical of an IT support maintenance agreement.
Thank you, Haider. Next question, once we are done submitting, what will be the stages of evaluation? Also, what will be the pilot duration and timelines? So once we receive let's say the call is closed, we will have access to the proposals. We do pre-screening, and then we start evaluating from both sides, and then we meet, as I mentioned, with the MATAR, and we have clear criteria how to score each part of the proposal, and then we invite the best, I would say, proposals to for an online interview, and then we select the best awardee among the interviewed companies. The pilot duration, Haider, can you remind me, please?
Apologies, Dr. Blady, I'm not sure. Deepika, is it 6 months? Would that be?
You're on mute, Deepika.
Sorry. Yeah, I think 6 months is ideal.
All right. Thank you. Next, what is the timing of the selection and pilot? So the timing of selection would take up to 2 months, and then the pilot, we just responded this question. Next question, do we need to develop the training content, or it's already available? It is already available with the company?
In form of dry material that needs to be made better. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. So next question, does XR content like gamified learning material in VR qualify?
So I think this question is about providing a virtual reality kind of game environment, which is innovative and would certainly be appealing for us as a functionality, but it cannot be just that. It needs to make sure that it delivers on the core elements that we discussed in this. So if that's an additional aspect to what we've previously discussed, then that would be amazing. But just a VR game alone, and if it doesn't achieve those behaviors and tackle those challenges that Deepika outlined earlier, then it probably wouldn't be the right match.
Thank you, Haider. Next question, how many employees will be part of the pilot, all or by department?
I think what would be ideal is that we pick one large department, and pilot it on that. That's what we think of right now. Yeah.
Thank you, Deepika. Next question, can you tell us more about the challenge of people believing they don't have time for learning? Is there anything to do with standard training seeming irrelevant? If the training is more relevant and work related with clear benefits for the learner, do you think they would find it easier to find the time? It's a bit philosophical question.
Yeah, so there are a lot of, again, perspectives on this. But what I would like to highlight clearly is specifying the current challenges that we have. And I think you can imagine that the airport jobs are extremely operational, and they require a lot of time and energy in what you're doing. If even if you're a passenger facing staff, you can't be doing other things while you are serving a passenger. So really, a lot of time goes in the operational activities, in the work that you're doing, and that leaves you very little time for your own development, which means that either you have to come out of your shift, and that's another big topic. We have shifts for a lot of roles, and it's not really easy to pull people out of shifts for any of their development. Especially when it comes to career development, it takes a backseat when it's about operational requirements. So we want to bring a right balance when it comes to your career aspirations. How do you actually also continue to do that while you are on your shifts, on your work? And that's why bite size is very critical. It's very important. Targeted development is very important. Something that you don't have to do, everything for everyone. Not that kind of an arrangement, but really focusing on what is required for an individual. I think if that's provided, there would be more interest in learning.
And also, I think I don't feel we're a very untypical organization. I think all organizations to some degree face staff who have differing levels of interest in their own personal development, right? Different people choose to carve time out. Other people, it's, I'm happy doing the job that I've always done. I'm unaware of my blind spots. You know, my operations is more prioritized by my manager, or that perception, that it's there. So I think, there's all those typical challenges that any workforce in any organization faces, which mean that people don't feel like they have time, or are not engaged with their learning, or are unaware of their development needs, or unaware of opportunities to grow. You can treat us as that typical organization with those typical reasons for limited engagement with learning and development.
Thank you. Next question: can a temporary joint venture, two companies working under the same umbrella together, present a proposal? Yes, they can present a proposal. However, there should be one lead company, and then the other one would be like a co-lead, I would say. Next question: could you please confirm that most of the content will come from you? Our main objective would be to make sure it is consumed correctly, right?
If you mean content, yeah. Sorry, Heather, go ahead.
No, please go ahead, Deepika.
Okay. I was just saying that if you mean by content ready material, maybe you would not have, because that's what we're looking at. The more digestible, the more gamified, and the more interesting way of giving it to an individual. We would have content in format of SOPs, manuals, processes, and so on. That would be with us, but it has to be converted into a more interesting format, targeted format, and of course, ensuring that it is consumed correctly.
Thank you. Next question: how about the balance between the depth of and the shortness of the content? What are your thoughts?
I think when it comes to the bite size, it's really about engagement. Providing people with diverse content, providing them with creating this engagement with their learning, so that if they want to do in depth, they can go and find the appropriate resource. I think here, just focus on creating engaging bite-sized content rather than trying to get the whole depth, because we will always support our colleagues with some of the more institutionalized trainings, like the Airport Council International or IATA trainings, or project management courses, etc. So you'd be kind of complementing that environment. But the key thing here is to drive that engagement by having bite-sized content that's interesting and makes people want to pursue depth.
Thank you, Haider. Next question: what do you believe makes the difference between creating and delivering content and actually building skills?
Well, it can make all the difference, and it can not make any difference as well. It's not just about creating content and delivering content, but really it's about doing the check-ins in between to see how much has been digested, how much has been understood, and how much has been implemented and applied. And when you do those check-ins through interactive and intuitive assessments, it builds more interest and motivation for the learner to take on more. So, and that is what helps in building skills.
Thank you, Deepika.
And that constant assessment is vital for us to measure progress. And one thing that I'm not sure if we touched on, what we would like for the assessments to have is to be in multiple choice form, where we also ask them for their confidence in that in their response. So we start to understand, where are people overconfident or underconfident, so that provides us with a further signal whether we need to reinforce someone's learning, or they're correct and it's adequate and we can move on to another competency.
Thank you, Haider and Deepika. Next question: how about data privacy and storage? Which cloud provider are you using? I think, Haider, this is for you.
Yeah, so us as an organization, we typically use Microsoft Azure, the Qatar region, but here I think we can have that discussion provided the appropriate controls are in place. And we can also limit what information we give you to navigate those security aspects.
Thank you. Next question: what is your timeline for this project? I think we already answered this question. We have 2 months for evaluation, 1 month for negotiation, and then the project will start, and it will last about 6 months. Next question: demographics of employees. We already answered this question. Which languages do you wish to support the pilot?
I think English is fine. If we can get multilingual support, particularly for Arabic, that would be even better. But I think English would be fine. Or what do you think, Deepika?
Yeah, agree.
Thank you. Next question: if this opportunity can initially be considered as a pilot demonstration, what would be the timeline for the pilot? We said the pilot is 6 months. Okay. Would the checklist of KPIs for the pilot be provided before closing the dates? I think closing the dates of the call, no, the KPIs would not be provided before closing the call. It's going to be during the negotiation.
So just one thing, maybe this is related to the question, maybe it's not, but what we would work to do is before the selected partner starts work, we agree what success criteria that the pilot needs to meet. And so that's done before you actually start work. So post award, but before you start work.
Okay, thank you, Haider. Another question: what are your thoughts about blended learning, mixing digital asynchronous learning with Synchronous, social, and connected learning might be workshops, digital and physical. Are you only looking for digital asynchronous micro-learning?
So yeah, I mean, we're not looking at completely replacing our current learning offering. Some programs and most of the programs would, of course, continue in all of these formats of synchronous and asynchronous. What we're looking at from this particular tool, platform, or solution is basically bite size for capability building and skill, bridging the skill gap um, for employees. And it would be complementary to everything else that we are offering.
Next question is the training only in English? I think we already answered this question. Best thing is well, English is okay, but it's better to have it in Arabic as well, or other languages. Next question, you mentioned that you mentioned the requirement of using large generative data modules to combine openly available information with the internal training sources when generating personalized training. Will some of at your end check if the generated training content is 100% accurate? These AI models are still not perfectly accurate.
Yes, so that would be part of the evaluation and would feed into the success criteria. But we do also understand that, we can do further fine tuning later on. But, the idea is that creating the bite-size modules shouldn't be a laborious exercise for us as MATAR or the supplier here. That we should leverage generative AI and look to continuously monitor and improve the quality of it.
Thank you, Haider. Next question, what is your current LMS and does it have all your competencies already mapped to the organizational roles?
Yeah, so the competencies, the technical competencies that we have are mapped to all organization roles along with proficiency levels at which they're required.
Okay, thank you. Next question, follow-up question to comment made only of office-based employees for both pilot and full development, or could field-based staff be considered in the solution? Is it only office-based, or could staff, field-based staff will be considered also?
At the airport, we have a lot of roles. Most of the roles are field-based, which are at the terminal, airside, landside. So it's clearly for all of them. I think one part of it that I missed in the previous question was which is our LMS or what is our current LMS, which is Cornerstone, just in case that helps.
Thank you, Deepika. Next question, may clarify that the competency baseline, desired competency level, have been researched and determined by MATAR?
So at best, we only have manager ratings or self ratings. We have we haven't quantitatively measured it using a question bank or anything, unless I'm mistaken, Deepika.
No, you're right. We've not done any technical assessments.
Thank you. Next question, what do you think about using AI generator integrated with assessments platform in order to create a training course and tests?
Yes, this is in line with our expectation that neither MATAR or the vendor has to create these assessments, but rather we leverage generative AI.
Thank you. Next question, how many user would be provided, would use provide solution ideally?
You mean in the pilot?
Probably in the pilot, yes.
I think we could test it out on maybe a group of 300 individuals, which would be about 150 roles, so to say. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Last, not this question, how about the IP of the end product? Is MATAR's, or is it MATAR's or the provider?
So I think, Dr. Bilid, you have a IP policy, right, for
we have IP
QRDI
policy from
initiatives, yeah.
our side.
Yeah.
So from our side, whatever the background IP comes with, that the provider, the solution provider brings, it's owned by the solution provider. If there is any new generated IP, then it would be negotiated between MATAR and the solution provider. We ourselves, QRDI, we do not own any IP. Is it clear, Haidar?
Yes, yes.
Okay. All right, so I think we reached the end of this webinar. I would like to thank Mrs. Deepika and Mr. Mohammed Haidar for their clarification. I would like to thank you all for attending this webinar, and I look forward to receiving your proposal and hopefully working with you on developing a pilot in Qatar. Thank you very much.